This is a song for my friends Jaret and Gary. They started a podcast and said a theme was necessary. They're just a couple of guys in a band that you know. Some rockstar dads who started a show. So here's the next episode.
Welcome to the Rockstar Dad Show. Hi, my name is Jaret, and with me, as always, is Gary.
Yo,
you know, I'm not doing the Foo Fighters Jet music today because I don't really feel like I'm nailing it. You know,
it's such a great idea, but sometimes it just doesn't flow. You know?
Yeah, it just really doesn't. It's like I don't know, man. It's like I like there's like a fade situation, and maybe I just need to have it in a different spot, but. I don't know. You know, Jack could add this in post, and he always has been able to. But I've been trying to fire you up.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
See, Jack could do it, but I just thought you didn't want to relinquish control.
There's an ex-wife joke in there, and it's rampant. Which man, what a fucking day today is, Gary.
Yeah.
And I have a story to tell you as well. So it's going to be a banner show today, guys.
All right. I was going to say I thought it was a big week for you because I think you're done now, right? BFS got done a while back, so I've been home, but you've still been going with country, and then you left town and you go do some stuff with Linus. But are you home now for the holidays? You're off.
I am home. I'm off. I'm like I have stuff to do in the studio, but like the thing is just not having travel looming, you know?
Right.
I was walking through the airport yesterday, and first of all, just getting to LAX is just such a beating. Now, LAX has gotten better once you're in there. There's more stuff.
Unless you're going to the super secret terminal for American Airlines, which if you've flown in and out of LAX, they built this nice, awesome new terminal, but you have to walk like a mile and a half to get there.
It's so far. But just getting into the like driving in there and to get dropped off at the gate is such a beating. So I wouldn't say that I was, but you know, me and Linus he was driving me and you know, we had the puppies. We took his dogs, Louie and Ziggy, and anytime, so they're little hairy chihuahua, long-haired chihuahuas, hairy chihuahua. They're long-haired chihuahuas, and so they just sit in the back, and they're super quiet until he starts stopping. So because when he starts stopping, they know they're off the highway, and they think they're about home. Well, so they start whimpering. So you know, I don't know. It was an eventful drive through. Anyway, just the fucking. They have the same problems with dumbass drivers there in LA that we do here in Texas, and just a lot of just like things. This is what
our dumbass drivers have gotten a lot worse over the past few years, but it may be because a lot of Californians have moved here.
It's so true, man. It's so true because I mean, and this is where my frustration had begun, right? And so I was just so frustrated. And I was just, you know, like, because I'm like, man, I feel bad for this guy. Like, he just wants to get home and he's having to drive me. And, you know, like, you know how that feels. You're just
sure.
Like, I just want him to be able to leave and not be in this. And his dogs want to get out of the fucking car. And he's worried about his cat, you know. And so anyway, he finally gets me dropped off. And I do the thing where I glance over the entire receiving area to check in. And so there's a place that says main cabin where you can get in the line. And there's a bag drop area. And then there's the priority thing. And I look over at the priority thing, and which in the priority thing, they won't let you do like a bag drop anymore. You have to go up to a person. They're doing that in Dallas too. And I'm certain that it's some sort of like a face-to-face service thing, which I feel like American Airlines could do themselves a big favor and not do that. You know, like because we're fans, right? So the worst thing the best thing that they're going to do is fuck it up, which does happen, right? Like if you have to talk to a person, you're like, God damn it, American Airlines, that's a strike against you.
Yeah, I can do this so much quicker and better and easier than they can. And I don't know why, because they do it all day long.
Yeah. Well, it's because you know your shit, you know, like, and I don't like when I'm doing self-checkout and they come over and they're like, let me help you here. Where are you going? I don't mean to be rude. I don't want you to help me. I don't. Like, unless this thing is out of ink or out of the little sticker rolls.
Yeah, or you're buying beer and you got to show ID.
Or yeah, exactly. Like, then I don't want help. I don't. I want to do it myself. And because that's the world we live in now. It's like, even that's what text messaging is. Text messaging is a conversation you do yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's cutting out all the BS.
Yeah, but again, you're doing your responses, everything's on your own time. You know, you can think about your shit. Like, I could think about, like, hey, do I want to move my seat? But if the lady's standing there, you're like, I just got to get through this as quick as I can, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I picked the priority line, and and it just isn't moving. It's just that fucking thing where there's 3 people up there. One of them isn't helping anyone. Now, a realistic, just human person from the outside will look at this and be like, oh, okay, well, that person's probably doing something else. But when you're a traveler, you look at that person going, you know, there's fucking 10 people in this line, and you could speed up their day by just taking a break from whatever the fuck that is. All of a sudden, her shit becomes way less important to you. You know, like you just want her to just look up, identify the fact that there's more people there, but they never do, right?
Yeah,
So the middle lady isn't helping anybody. And the guy who is up like 7 in front of me goes up to the counter, and he doesn't have a suitcase. And I'm like, oh boy. Because when they walk up there and they're not checking a bag, something's fucked up. Yeah. And they want to do something that's going to require a lot of time from the person, right? So that leaves one guy. And he's got that thing where there's like, I guess it's like I just assumed they're either a family is moving, or they've been somewhere for so long that they've managed to accumulate so much shit that they had to be dropped off at a U-Haul.
You're sitting there looking and going, which line's going to move the fastest? And you're fucked on all of them.
Okay, but all of this is just the priority lane, by the way.
Right. I'm just saying, like, you're in the lane and you're going to go talk to person or this person or that person. It's kind of roulette on which person you're going to get. Yeah. But each person has issues.
Everybody's fucked. And I'm just standing there. And like, I timed it to where I'm like, I just want to get through there. I want to go. I have to pee because it's a 2.5 hour drive. I drank an entire large Stanley full of ice water. And I'm hungry because the place we stopped at was bullshit. And I'm just like, and I'm not starving. Like, that's not part of my bad mood, but and I'm not in a bad mood yet. Okay. Spoiler alert. At the end of this, I'm in a fucking bad mood.
You're not in a bad mood yet, but you're primed.
Oh my God. It's starting, right? So I go, all right, man, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking go over there, and I'm just going to go to the self bag drop, because I look over there, there's 4 people working, and there are 4 people at kiosks.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, man? Sometimes going to the priority lane is like being on the guest list. You go because you can. You feel like I just want to be on that list over there so I can go through there. I want to feel like people ask us to be on the guest list. Sometimes they can afford tickets. They just want to be able to go up and go, I want to be on the guest list. I'm on the guest list. Can I get in there? And they get nothing. You get nothing for it.
Sure. There's the other thing though of being on the priority list though. It's like, it's kind of like traveling on a weekday versus traveling on a weekend. It's like, these are business travelers. Everyone should know their shit. We're going to get through the security line quick. So the priority line should be, okay, you've had to travel a lot to get some kind of status or priority. You should know what you're doing. The line should move along.
Correct. Now, let's get back to bashing our favorite airline, American Airlines. Because what they've done is they've made it more important for you to use their credit card than it is for you to travel. So what has happened now is there's all these people who never travel, who now have the same status as I do, which is the highest you can get without like being invited by the fucking president of the label and getting this, or the airline, whatever this concierge key is. I want it so bad. I don't understand it. I want it. And I can't have it because it's like some kind of fucking secret club
Yeah.
that you got to get jumped into. Like, I guess a bunch of business guys beat the fuck out of you. And then you get up and they're like, you fucked up, man. You joined the gang, you know? All right. So I go to the bag drop thing. Now, the bag drop thing in American Airlines, for those of you who don't know, it's just one aisle each. And then on either side of the aisle are both way facing kiosks. So, which normally there's 4 there, which means 16 people can be there at once checking in. And then you tag your own bag and you literally go up, drop it with the lady, and show her your ID. And she looks at your ID, and that's your end of transaction.
Yeah.
You're
Head to security.
You're done, right? So I go over there, and right when I get there, like 2 people walk up. And then so I get my thing, and then I'm behind 4 people, right? And the first guy that walks up she goes, okay, do you have your bag? And he goes, oh yeah, no, I just need to get a ticket. And she goes, oh, okay, well, you don't do that here. And I'm like, oh fuck, here we go, right? So there's one lady that I can't count on. The next lady, I forgot to tell you, there's only 2 people working at this one.
Yeah.
So the next lady, I watch the passenger roll up to the counter. Her baggage tag is just laying across her suitcase, and it just falls off onto the floor. And so the lady grabs the bag and she's like, where's your baggage tag? Now I'm 3 people back now. And I'm like, motherfucker. Like I'm gonna fucking explode. But because for me to help, I would have to yell. And it would seem like I was being a dick. And now I'm starting to get in a bad mood. Okay.
Yeah.
And so they have to look for this thing. And the people in front of me aren't helping. And I'm like, God damn it, guys, we all see it's right there on the thing. And I'm sort of just pointing. So they go and find it. And then there's a problem.
Oh boy.
So not only now do they have to put the thing on there for this passenger lady, now another person comes from another area, right? And has to help them solve whatever issue is going on. You already have everything. You have your boarding pass, you have your baggage tag, like everything is in your hands.
Slap that tag on there and get going.
What could the fucking problem be, right? So they get her on her merry way. The next person goes through, and then a lady walks up to them and says, you 2 need to go on break.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I just deflated. I just was like, and I look over at the priority line. One guy's gone through, and I'm sitting there. My bag is already tagged. So there's nothing I can do. I have to stay in this line. I look over at the main cabin thing, and there's nobody in that line. But still, if I go over there, they're going to send me back to the baggage drop, right?
Yeah.
So I just have to fucking wait. And luckily, one of the ladies, I'm going to praise American Airlines. I think one of the ladies saw, oh, there's only 3 people here. I'll just take my break in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And help these people who obviously seem like they have their shit together. So I got that done. And then, so then I go through the pre-check, right? And there are 8 people in front of me, and 3 of them don't have pre-check, right?
Of course.
I have to watch that whole thing. Now, by this time, Gary, I am fucking it's about as bad mood as I can get for not really any reason. You know, like I'm not really pissed at anybody or anything.
I can kind of understand the first, maybe the second person going through the wrong line and getting to the place, and the first person gets turned away, and the second person, if it were me, I'd be like, oh shit, do I have the right thing? Okay, they get up there and then they get turned away. How is the third person not going, oh shit, do I have the right thing or not?
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? And what I don't understand is there's a person at the bottom of the escalator and around the corner looking at your ticket. Like somehow they sweep through the fucking first line of fucking defense.
That's right. I forgot at LAX they have that person checking to see if you can even get in that line.
You're not even supposed to get past that person.
Yeah.
But there they went, right? And so, and you know what's fucked is that I first late now because of all this shit. And I had to register for that thing clear for something else. And I was trying to tell this story, and this is going to be just as good as it was the last time I told it this week. I had to register for that for something, and I don't remember what it was. So essentially, all I have to do is go to the machine, and it just scans my face, and now I have clear too, right? So I've got global entry and TSA and clear. Like, I like to have all of it.
Yeah, you're good. You just want to get through that. You're good.
I want to fucking, you know what the other thing is I don't want to be a burden on anybody else. I want to get through as quick as I can. Sure, some of it is selfishly, but also I hate being in someone's way.
Yeah.
It's such a big deal in this new band I'm in, Gary. Like, I had to tell them, and they all knew, so I feel fine about it now. But I'm like, guys, I can't go up there and stand on the stage with you while they're getting everything ready to sound check and to do all this stuff. And like, while y'all are trying to figure out lines and they're wiring stuff, I'm like, I physically can't do it because I don't know where to be. Like
if I'm saying you're me, if either of us, and I'm sure a lot of other people have this too, but if like stuff is happening and you don't have anything to do and there's people like around you moving around and trying to get on, you're just in the way. That is like one of the most anxiety ridden things ever.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like in the country band, Rob sets up my stuff because our stuff is the same. Like it's all in one thing. So I don't have anything to do. Like I could unpack my guitar, but even that, like it just gets done. So like, I'm not even being like
there's a phrase for it's, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. You just don't need that many people doing certain things.
Yeah. So we try to stay out of everybody's way. Right. So I get through TSA fine. And then I was obviously, I was in a little bit of bad mood. And then I got a text from the other side of my life, my previous life. And that sort of set me off. And then I had to just shut down. I went and I got a big fucking ice water in the Admirals Club, and I got they had these Chipotle chicken tacos, which normally I wouldn't even eat there. No, like I like to go to the restaurant, that's
right.
What we usually do, right? But I didn't even have time for that. But actually it ended up being really delicious. And I talked to Casey and I calmed down, and then I wasn't in a bad mood anymore. And I was just like, okay, now everything is great. And then I go to my gate to go, and I decided 7 minutes to boarding. I'm going to do the fucking thing instead of what I usually do. Because usually, so I'm group 1. I have executive platinum, and that is not a flex, ladies and gentlemen. We fucking travel a lot. It goes with the territory, right?
Yep.
And so I do the thing where I go, you know what I'm going to do? I could sit there in a chair, but I'm going to just go ahead up to the priority line, stand right to the side, but in the front, right? And just be there, because normally what we do, as you know, is we wait for them to call group 1, and then we just bulldoze right to the fucking front of the line like we're old people not knowing where to go, right? But the problem with that is, of where I'm standing at this point, Gary, is that now I have to go through the thing of all of the people who are absolute fucking idiots. And so at LAX, the gates are real close together. So they share a PA. So what's happening is they are calling groups to board the flight to fucking Tahiti next to us. And people are literally walking to the front of the line. That it's not even open yet, There's a lady standing there, but they're walking to the front of the line, and they're like, they called group 4. And she's like, sir, we're not even boarding this flight yet. Like, and it just, dude, it's like fucking person after person, and then they're looking at us. It's just me and this one other group 1 guy, right? And there's a guy in front of us who is not fucking group 1, by the way, and we can see his thing. And
there's always a group 7 that's at the front of line.
Always, right? So they do the pre-board thing. And this is where I fucking lose it, Gary. They do the pre-board thing, and there's this old couple. They're not even, they're old, but like they're not fucking like old. She's not in a wheelchair. Like they're walking fine. They're looking at each other. They're talking. Everything seems to be in check with these two, right? And they walk through this line where there's like a lady in a wheelchair and a guy with a baby and a dude with a limp, and like these people are obviously getting on the plane because they need extra time, right? And so the lady goes, this is pre-board only. Are you pre-boarding? And the guy just looks at his wife like, are we pre-boarding or whatever? And she like shakes her head. No, he goes, yeah, we're pre-boarding or whatever. And I'm like, fuck! That's not how this works.
Apparently it is.
Yeah. And so thus my, if you follow me on Threads or Twitter, that's me. I said, is 51 too young to just start doing the thing where you just walk to the front of the line of anything in the world like you don't know what's going on, like it's just what you should be doing,
Yeah.
And but anyway, I got on the I god damn it, man. And then I get on the plane, and I'm, as you can tell, I'm a little sniffly still. Like I haven't been able to kick. So I was sick the last time I saw you, actually, and I've had this for like 2 weeks, and it's fine. It's whatever's going around. And also I think just traveling, like I went to the desert, and that apparently fucks you up. And so
well, depending on what you're doing in the desert,
I fucking sit down in my seat, and and then this fucking other fat guy sits next to me, and he's wearing a mask, and I just go, oh shit. Now I'm not saying oh shit, ladies and gentlemen, for the reason that you might think. I don't give a fuck if the guy wears a mask or not. Wear a mask. I'm a mask wearer. You know what I mean? Like whenever we were supposed to wear it, whatever. I don't have to anymore. I fucking don't. I knew what was about to fucking happen. And this motherfucker had the deepest, grossest hat cough.
Oh boy.
Ever. And the fucking flight attendant is handing me my water, and the guy just goes, oh, right as it's going in front of his face, and I'm like, defeated. That's it. I'm defeated. You got me. You got me, LAX. That's it. You win.
Did the flight attendant make any notice of the guy hacking in your water?
Yeah, the flight attendant made eye contact with me, and I just shook my head and fucking took a drink of it. Like, he knew. The guy could just tell. And you know what, man? He brought me a new one. And he fucking kept that thing full the entire flight. And man, and I, and the dude next, he's eating and hacking, and I didn't even eat, like, because I'm fuck it. I'm punishing myself,
Yeah.
Just give me the nuts. I can hold those. He can't fucking hack all over that shit. And I'm like holding my drink and holding my nuts. And it's just, and I'm like, just God damn it.
That's definitely not the first time you've held your nuts on the flight.
It is definitely not the first time I've held my nuts on the flight. No, it wasn't the only, even after I gave him the thing back from the nuts, I held my other ones. But man, anyway, I got home, and so I thought pretty much that was the end of that. And it wasn't. I got home, and
oh no.
I had to check a bag because basically I had just gotten home. As Gary was saying earlier, I got home from a country tour on a Friday. I was home, actually super early Saturday morning. Saturday, I slept, and then we went to a really fun Christmas party here and with some of our friends. And then I left Sunday morning for the desert with Linus. And so I just took my dirty clothes and my backpack, and I just threw it in my suitcase. So like I just, all my toiletries and everything were in there. So I had to check that bag. So anyway, I get home, and I'm like, all right, I'm on that. I got thrown a bone because I landed in the same gate that I took off out of. So I didn't have to ride that bus, which the problem, I don't mind riding the bus, by the way. It's just the schedule. Like I can't figure it out. Like like if you're trying to go to A, one comes by it, it goes, this one goes to B and C, and you're like, okay, well, it'll probably be the next one. And the next one's like, this one goes to D and remote parking, and the next one goes to E and Z, and you're like, there's not even a fucking gate Z. I don't understand where this fucking bus is going. Why is there not one?
And after you've been sitting there forever, another one comes looking like it's going to be the next one. Like, this is it. Nope, this one's going to a fucking hotel.
Yeah, or it just says out of service or whatever.
Yeah.
It's empty, and the guy just looks at you like, fuck you, you know. And
yeah.
so anyway, I didn't have to do that, and so I was excited, but I got off the plane, and I'm like, God damn, man, there's fucking nobody in this airport. So I guess they had cut all the baggage people, because I look at the thing and there's like our baggage claim, there's like nobody there, and there's 2 flights that it says that the bags are coming, and then I just look over at the next thing, and the whole fucking screen is full of like bags that are supposed to be coming, and people look like they've been standing there a while. So I'm like,
that's not a good sign.
So I go and I pee, and I come back, and honestly, it really wasn't that long. Finally, I did the thing where I saw my bag come off, but it was like on the other side, and I was like, I'm gonna just fucking finish this email, because I know that the thing comes right to me, you know. So
yeah.
we used to make fun of people for that all the time, like taking off running, you know,
not knocking people over. It's like, it's coming right back. Just chill out. You'll be here in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, or less, you know, like fuck, you know. And so I go and I get the van, and because I parked. I do the math, Gary. If it's gonna cost me more to Uber than it is to just fucking park there, then I just park. Then I just got my car there anyway, you know. And
right.
So I and you know, from where we live, it's sort of iffy. It's like a 4-day trip, right? It's like 4 days. It's depending on, you know, like what the Uber there and the Uber back, sort of you kind of break even. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just have my car. And I'm glad I did, because I get to my car and I thought, oh boy, something is happening in my gut. And I'm like, man, I got to poop. But I don't think much of it. I'm just like, man, I'll just get on the road, and if I have to go, I'll stop at a Quick Trip or whatever. So I load everything up, and I pull out of my parking spot. And as I'm pulling out, I'm like, oh no, I have to go right now. Like this is, so I have to go. So I have to do the thing where I'm like driving, but like my butt is like in the air. I'm planking basically, and I'm driving so I don't shit my pants. And I go.
Whenever you do that, it makes you like hit the gas harder. Though. You're like you're speeding, but at the same time, you're like, this is dangerous. I should slow down.
But you're in a parking garage too. And you brake harder too. Like you and that makes you almost shit. And so I look and got to the 1 hour parking, and then I just I had to go back inside the terminal and go in there. I made it fine. There was one that was available, and after that I loaded up and I left, and I got home, and my son was, I actually picked him. I got to pick up Everett from piano lessons, and he was so happy to see me. And I was just, and then my wife actually got COVID the day that I left. So she was, I think, feeling like good enough to you know, greet me, and had dinner ready, and it was just a very nice homecoming. But that was my travel day yesterday.
Dude, I'm sorry you had such a shitty travel day. And one of the reoccurring themes that wasn't so much the shitty part is just that we travel a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna knock on wood, or do, you know, I'll rub on a rabbit's foot or something. Like, we have good luck most of the time traveling. Anik always jokes, like, whenever we're coming home, I'll be like, our flight lands at 1:13, and she's gonna come pick me up. And I always remind her, like, we always land early, so like be there before 1:13. And no one ever lands early, but we always do. And I don't know, we just typically have pretty good. People always ask about lost bags and stuff, and we just haven't had much of that with as much travel as we've done.
It's true.
But unfortunately, whenever those days do hit, it's not one incident. It's like they all stack up together.
Yeah. And, you know, it's funny because we take up for American Airlines and stuff. I think they're all probably about the same, but I don't know. I feel like you're right. Like, as far as our track record for as much as we travel, like, we've definitely been fucked over very few times. Now, Rob would disagree with us. And it's because he flies in those little airports all the time, and they get fucked all the time. You know, like his attitude is a little different. Well, we got to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you a story about bingo. And anyway, you guys are going to want to hear it. It's funny, and we'll be right back.
Dog or a game?
It's a game, and we'll
Okay.
be back with more Rockstar Dad Show right after this. Welcome back to the Rockstar Dad Show. Don't forget, we are on I never do that. Fuck. Welcome back to the Rockstar Dad Show. Don't forget, we are on Adobe Radio every single Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and again on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're on your favorite podcast app all the time on Wednesdays. But there's so many back episodes. Don't forget, we just had Sean from the band Yellow Card, who are back and kicking ass. We had Will from the Texas country. Why did I just forget his last name? Will Carter from the Texas country music scene last week.
We've had some good shows. We got more coming. But
Yep.
you said that we're on everyone's favorite podcast app. What is your favorite podcast app? I got a funny story about mine. Or no, I've got a funny story about not mine.
Okay, good. I just listened to podcast, but I will say that I'm in the car with Dave a lot, and he just likes Spotify.
Okay.
As that goes. But what?
So when you say podcast, you mean like the built-in native to Apple? That's what I use too, right?
Yeah.
And I also use Apple's Music, which used to be iTunes, and now it's Music, whatever. I use that for music, right? So I have Spotify, but remember a couple of weeks ago when everyone is getting their reports for this year about here's my top 10 bands or here's my top 10 songs and all this. I only have Spotify for one thing, and I don't listen to it all the time, but it's Joe Rogan. And so my report is like, that's it. You have like 2 episodes of Joe Rogan that you listen to this year.
That's so funny.
That's it.
So I'm on the family plan, and so I can't even look at mine because it's like all the shit that my kids listen to, and I mean a lot of it is good, but a lot of it is just I don't even know what the hell it is. Like especially Jack and Emma. Like I don't even. I mean, they listen to artists that I don't even know. I've never heard of them.
That's like I set up on. We have the Roku TVs that have all the apps and stuff in them, and there's a YouTube app on them. And I had to set up a different account on those YouTubes because it would all the stuff Mia watches would mess up my YouTube.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, like Netflix does, right? Like Everett watches on his Netflix, and then yeah, and I guess, man, I had trouble figuring YouTube TV out. I still have it. And it's I'll tell you the good thing about YouTube TV, it's fucking awesome if you travel. It's so great. Hulu is way easier to navigate, but I totally get it. So I'm just gonna fucking keep both. I like to have all the stuff.
Years ago, keeping both made me think. So years ago, I went to go visit my sister. She was living in the Houston area at this time, and I hadn't been to her house yet, and I hadn't been to this town. And she was like taking us around, showing us the sights and stuff. And I don't remember how it came up, but like for some reason I was asking like if she had Costco or Sam's Club, like if she had a membership. But I was like, oh, do you have Costco or Sam's? And she's like, both.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, she's living like by herself at this point. You know, she's a college student basically. Why the fuck do you have memberships to 2 warehouse stores? And it was a really weird back and forth conversation for a while before I figured out she meant that the city has both.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's one of those things where I am actually one of those, like, I like to have everything, right? So like and honestly, I equate the music and that stuff again, like YouTube TV, you logging into that and Broken Bow, and I was like, well, that's fucking great. And they've got football, so I'm just gonna get it, you know, and we can and it comes in handy all the time. Like, I mean, even just in hotels while I'm on the country shit, you know, like if there's nothing on, you can just put Seinfeld on or whatever, you know. So but yeah, I have like all of the music ones. Like I have Amazon, I have music, I have Spotify, Pandora, and I write it off as research. like I fucking need this, Yeah. I'm not sure they even let me do that anymore. I just got all of my family now use a different one. They all like whatever. And music is so, if you're a Mac person, it's just, you almost have to have it, especially if you're a musician, like to be able to just be on your computer and get something that's like super accessible. I
Yeah.
guess you can go to YouTube, but yeah, I digress. I got to tell you a story. So me and Linus went on a dude's trip, and it was great, by the way. Man, I'll tell you, Joshua Tree is essentially this area about an hour and a half south of Los Angeles. It is where U2 went to write the album Joshua Tree. And of course, Linus had his jokes. Just like he kept getting lost because the streets have no names. And that it's all the Linus isms. But
he basically is. He's really good at dad jokes, but he's not.
Oh my god, yeah, he's so good, and puns too. But it's him. He hangs out with Scott Simon so much, and they're both really good at that. And so it's just nonstop.
Yeah,
it's like they're just constantly trying to think of them, And so anyway, we had a great trip. It really was nice. I was a little stressed out about it because I'd just gotten off the road, and I was like, man, I don't even know if I'm going to be fun. But it was just really chill. And so we found a bar that we like. It's very Bowling for Soup-esque in that we found one bar that we liked. We went there every night.
Gotcha.
And didn't change it up. People are like, oh, are you in Joshua Tree? You got to go to this place. You got to go to this place. And it was like, yeah, we found a place the first night. We're just going to go there. And so the first night we were there, we had actually just gone there for to have like an afternoon drink, and we loved it. And food's fucking great. It's called the Red Dog Saloon. It's in Pioneer Town, which is just basically this movie set town that's got these couple of bars, and everybody else talks about the other one that we didn't go to called Pappy's. Maybe that's not it. No, I think it is. And so we go to the Red Dog Saloon, and we're having some drinks. And then I'm just like, well, this is fucking great. Let's just stay here, And the lady goes, yeah, we've got bingo later. And I'm like, well, Linus, that sounds fucking fun, And he's like, okay, well, I'll go. He goes back to the house, feeds the dogs, because he got little bitty baby dogs, or not baby dogs, but little dogs, and they have to eat like around the same time twice a day, or their little tummies get all fucked up, right? I understand that, whatever. So he goes back, he feeds the dogs, comes back, and while he's gone, the bartender was really nice, and so she reserved his seat, and then she threw these other 2 reserved seats like right next to me. I was on the corner, and I assumed, and she pulled a table over, and I assumed to the bar, like one of those high top tables over to the bar, and I assumed that this must be where the bingo lady's going to sit, right? So when the lady, so while he was gone, these 2 girls sat down. One of them was like a sort of like a older, like hippie chick. And the other girl looked like Mia Kunis. And they were obviously buddies or whatever. And so I just said hello, because I'm sitting there by myself and being on my phone and shit, and introduced myself. And the lady's name was Lark. And so I was like, oh, I have a friend named Lark in Texas. And she's like, no way. And I go, yes, I do. And then that was that conversation. So Linus gets back, and the place, I mean, the bingo lady shows up, and apparently that's not her. She's not the Lark lady, nor Mia Kunis. And she sets up this table. It's really, really fun the way they do this. I was texting Casey while they're doing it, because we have trivia here and different things like that we like to do. But this was super rad. Like, go ahead.
I'm interested to see where it's going for the super rad, because whenever you said that she was like, yeah, stick around, we've got bingo later, like, to me, that's not so much of a selling point. That's one of those like, yeah, we're probably gonna get out of here.
Well, I was just like, well, I mean, it's a bar. I mean, fuck it. It's something to do, right? And sure. I mean, even if it's at this point, I mean, even if it's silly, it's a story to tell, right? Later. Right. So it ends up being rad. Like this lady comes in, and she's got this stack of these. They're like a leather bound bingo card, and then the numbers are on there, and you have these little red little slider windows or whatever. But I'm thinking, she goes, "We're gonna play 9 games," and I'm like, Jesus Christ, how long are we gonna be here? You know. So they you go and you buy your bingo card. They're $10 a pop. You get a discount if you buy 4, and all the money goes to charity. So we're like, well, fuck, this is great. We'll each get 2. And there's people that are playing like 4, and I'm like, let's just keep it at 2 because we'll just see how this goes. And so now I know why they're playing 9 games. Like, this lady doesn't fuck around. When they start, it's just like everything has like, so she'll go, doodly doo, it's B2, or not that, but it's like things like that.
Yeah.
What do you know? It's something that doesn't rhyme with anything. What's crisp and clean, B17, like that kind of shit, right?
Okay.
But it just goes like fast. Most of the games are blackout. And when you get to where you only have 1 left to cover, you have to yell, "Fuck you!" And he asks you what your name is, and you go, "John." And then the whole fucking restaurant, or the whole bar restaurant, goes, "Fuck you, John." Right.
Okay.
So the whole point is to try and get the whole place to tell you to go fuck yourself, basically, right? And so we're like, okay, this is fucking fun as shit, and it goes so fast. Like, I couldn't have done more than 2 cards. Like, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I would have trouble keeping up with because I'm gonna overanalyze. Did I miss it? Did I miss it?
Exactly. Yeah, totally, right? And there's no chance to go back. Like, it's in fact, like, when somebody interrupts, like, "Did you call B?" But the place will just go, or whatever. So we start playing, and as I said, it's good fun. You clear your card, and then they even give you a chance to trade it in later. So highly recommend if you're ever in Joshua Tree and they're doing bingo at the Red Dog Saloon. We had a fucking blast.
See, that sounds fun. Normally, I'm thinking of bingo, and it's the early bird dinner, and a bunch of white hairs, and right.
That was Bobby and Anna Donovan's first date.
Really?
That's such a Bobby thing, though, right? Like, they
That is.
took her to bingo, like at the old lady place, but yeah, I hear bingo. You're right.
They're not yelling "fuck you" at that place.
They're not. No, that's the thing is there's 2 things. I think of bingo, and like, you think of little kids, like, trying to get them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Or you think of it just smells like cigarettes, like,
Yeah.
But that's pretty much that.
Yeah, I would think of little kids, and last spring break we went on this trip to the JW Marriott in the Hill Country in San Antonio. It's got a water park. It's an awesome little resort. But in the afternoon they had activities for kids, and one day it was bingo. And I don't know why there weren't many kids at this place. I guess our spring break was a weird week or something. But there's like 3 other kids, and so me and 3 other kids are playing bingo. And they're only going to do like 5 or 6 games, and she won 4 of them. And she's 6, so like, it's too little to be like, you don't get a prize again. So like, she just cleaned up.
Oh yeah, of course. That was this last year.
Yeah, last spring break.
Yeah, last year our spring break was weird because we went down to wherever the fuck we went, Costa Rica.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was there was nobody there. Like, half the time, our boys were the only ones in the kids club.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was no line for anything ever. Like, the only thing, we've talked about this before. What the fuck is the deal with hibachi on resorts? Like, why is it just because it's like a thing to do or something?
It's got to be some kind of like, it's a dinner and a show, if you will, right? Like, it's got to be something like that. Because I'm with you. We've been to a few other, Dominican Republic, and the resort has hibachi. That's a weird thing for that place.
You can't get in. That's what I'm saying is like, yes, you're right. That is weird. And it's been like, we've had it in Puerto Vallarta, and I don't know if I've ever been to Puerto Vallarta. I don't even know if that's if I'm saying the right place. But like, all the places that you go, they always have, like, there's an Italian place and a steakhouse, and sometimes an Indian place, and then the hibachi place, and like, The hibachi place, they'll be just like, hey, make sure you make, I swear to God, this is a true story. So the one time we were at I think it was Puerto Vallarta, and we were at the Hard Rock Cafe, and the guy goes, hey, so just make sure you get your reservations in early, especially for the hibachi, because it books up really quick. And so I'm like, well, can we go ahead and make our reservations for the hibachi? He goes, sure, let me see right now. And I go, okay, so what nights do they have? Oh, he goes, I'm sorry, that's actually booked out 6 weeks already. I'm like,
well, why even bring it up?
Yeah, I go, well, I just got here. Secondly, didn't you already fucking know? Don't you say this to everybody?
Yeah.
You know, what just happened? You know, and Casey was, and I guess, you know what? You're right. Because even Casey was like, well, maybe an opening in the hibachi place. I'm like, we go to hibachi every 2 weeks at home. Like, what the fuck is happening? Anyway, you can never get into the fucking hibachi place.
That's true. That's true. I've same experience on all the resorts we've gone to. And the cruise we went on I don't know, whenever we went, they had a place, and Anik was dying to go. And same thing, like it was booked out the whole, like day one, we stepped foot on the boat, and I was trying to book it for lunch or dinner and couldn't do it.
God damn it. Y'all need to, all you travelers, you need to go to hibachi at your own house, you know, like, I mean, and participate in the show, by the way. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go follow me on TikTok. So anyway, we're sitting there, and you know, game 1 happens, and game 2
Shit, we got sidetracked so much I forgot we're still playing bingo.
Oh yeah, we're still playing bingo, but that's fine. We're building up now. And so this lady Lark sitting next to me, after the second game, the assistant to the bingo runner comes by, and she goes, y'all want to trade in your cards? And I'm like, no, I'm not fucking trading in my cards. Like, these are the cards I was dealt, you know, and I'm getting all Las Vegas on them and shit, right? And so
same dice.
Yeah, same dice, right? And so the lady goes, that she says to the Lark, like, how are you doing tonight? And she goes, I gotten close a couple of times. She's playing 3 cards, right? And so that the assistant to the bingo runner looks at me and just goes, yeah, she's been here every week since we started doing this 8 months ago, and she's never won once.
Uh-oh.
And she's like, every single person in here who's a regular has won, you know, multiple times, but she's never won once. And she walks away, and I go, hey, this is going to seem crazy, but you're going to win tonight. And she goes, oh yeah. And I go, I am fucking really lucky. It's a weird thing, but I'm just telling you right now, you're going to fucking win. And Linus leans over, and he goes, man, he really is. Like, he's really lucky, you know? And I'm like, I'm telling you, you're going to fucking win tonight. Right. And so, you know, so she doesn't win the third game or the fourth game, right, or whatever, and she's really not letting me play it up. Like, she's not really, like, she's sort of dry, so she didn't think any of my jokes are funny, but she thought all of Linus's were. Go figure, you know, kind of thing.
So you hated her?
Oh, Jesus, just wanted to. No, I'm done. Not really. But again, all of this is just small talk. Like, we're not spending time together. It's just every once in a while, it's like you look over at the person next to you, how you doing, or whatever, you know, whatever. So the night continues to go, and it gets the 8th game, and I'm like, I'm telling you, you're gonna win. You're gonna win tonight. This game or the next game. And she's just like, okay. And Linus is like, I'm telling you, man, the dude is really lucky. And I go, listen, my wife and my friend Gary, everybody talks about it all the time. I just win shit. It's fucking weird. And I'm like, it's just been this thing, and I can't. Trust me, you're gonna fucking win. And she wins, right, on the 8th thing, right? So she wins, and she goes and she gets her prize. The place fucking erupts. They give her a fucking round of ovationness, and just people are fucking stoked, right?
Yeah.
And so she comes back, and I'm like, I was told you. And she's like, yeah. And I'm thinking, motherfucker, she's not going to give me any fucking credit for this. She is not. She's not basking in the fact that I fucking made this happen, right? I'm looking at Linus, and I'm like, man, she's not giving me any fucking credit for this. And by this time, I'm pretty drunk, right? And so I'm just like, I made that happen. I told you you're gonna win. And she goes, yeah, okay. I said, I did. I said here and told you you're gonna win. And she looks at her friend, and she goes, well, she told me I was going to win too. And I go, yeah, but she's here with you every fucking week and tells you that. I just anyway, so the night finishes off and I leave angry at her.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was so hoping the end of the story was going to be she won game 8. Okay, she didn't give you any props or whatever, but then you won game 9 and you're like, all right, the night's over. See you later. Told you I was lucky.
That would have been the best, but I was so happy for her.
Yeah.
And I wanted to win round 4 because it was like this necklace from this place. And I was just like, well, that'd be cool to take home to Casey. And
so that's what I was going to ask is what are the prizes at this crazy thing?
Some of them are pretty good. Like there was like an Amazon gift card, and then there's like there's one that is your tab, and it doesn't matter. Like and again, me and Linus have been sitting there drinking all day, and he had already eaten 3 times, and so I hadn't eaten anything yet, but he had he just continues to go back, and so I'm just like, fuck, man. I guess we had done shots and. I'm just like, man, if we win that fucking tab thing, they're just gonna be like, what the fuck? Because I've never heard of that before.
If you guys win your tab, then that's gonna be the end of that. That's not
bingo
coming back
ends.
for bingo.
Yeah, bingo ends. Yeah, but anyway, I fucking win this lady some bingo.
And you don't even get a thanks for it.
Didn't get any thanks for it whatsoever, but it was super fun. And man, anyway, I started to say this earlier. So Joshua Tree is very Broken Bowie. There's one street through the place, just as far as like the way that it is, not necessarily like in any other way, because it's very mountainous and it's obviously a desert, not in the middle of Oklahoma, but it's just Airbnbs and a fucking street of stuff. And there's there's a couple of bars. It's a little bit more developed than Broken Bow is from the commerce standpoint. Like there's actually a grocery store there, and there's all the fast food place. You can like Uber eat shit because it's LA and all that stuff. But
it's got like a 30-year head start on Broken Bow.
Yeah, but it's still really quiet. Like I was asking Linus, because like, everywhere we went, like just nothing was packed ever. Huh. He was like, it's always like this. It's just sort of just a steady thing. Because I guess, well, oh no, he said it actually because in the desert, because it's the desert, nobody goes in the summer because it gets to be like that fucking Vegas hot, like 118 and shit, which sounds fucking terrible.
And U2's just there everywhere, right?
All the time. Yeah, they're just there. Well, now they're in Las Vegas. At the Sphere, but that's right. They've been there since the mid 80s. just U2ing.
Wow.
And but yeah, man, it was a good trip. But yeah, I'm fucking done for the year. Christmas is going to be easy this year. We my parents are on a cruise, and we haven't really been doing the thing with my parents, and we just sort of mail each other our gifts anyway, and so we're doing our thing here with my kids, with our kids, and on the 23rd, which is our Christmas Eve, and then the older kids are here and they spend the night, and then 24th is Christmas morning for us. And then
you're not going to go see your new sisters or brother or any of that stuff.
So I can't go see my new sisters. They already did their Christmas. While actually it was this past weekend.
Man, they are on top of it.
Man, they did. They are. I didn't get to see them. I did get to see them this summer though, which was nice. But yeah, my little brother's coming over for Christmas Eve. So we do this thing on Christmas Eve where we just sort of chill throughout the day because the kids have already had Christmas. And then at night we have like a Chinese food thing with my in-laws, and my little brother and his wife will be here, my new little brother.
Nice.
And it's cool because he hasn't really been super close with his family for a long time. And he's like, he feels like he belongs here, and he does. And so, but and then I text my older brother whom I've had my entire life, by the way. And I'm just like, like I'm starting to see my little brother more than I am my big brother. I need to fucking make an effort, but he stays so busy. He's a park ranger at one of the lakes up here. And they work pretty long hours, and then he gets one day off, and I think he just likes to be high.
Yeah, well, okay, fair enough. I mean,
like it's just what he likes to do, but
yeah. Well,
But
yeah, that's awesome that your brother has a place to go to now, because
yeah,
holidays can be lonely if you don't have a bunch of family or anything to do, and that can definitely be a lonely time. And I've heard some people recently talking about having some downer stories from friends or whatnot, and I think that's probably a good time that we should mention Punk Rock Saves Lives or something. So there's
yeah,
places that people can reach out to, and check in with your friends and reach out to your friends, because I love the holidays. I love getting together and being with families, and a lot of the times I just forget that not everyone has that same experience.
yeah, you're right. If you just need somebody to talk to, man, even if you're not a Bowling for Soup fan, the Bowling for Soup fan page is a good place to go. You can just be on there and be like, "Hey, I need somebody to talk to," and somebody will reach right back out to you. And but yeah, Punk Rock Saves Lives is there for you. Foundation 45. But as Gary said, it is good to sort of like kind of do your Rolodex of like, hey, is there anybody that I can think of that might have lost a loved one? Or, I have a new song out. This is a shameless plug, but I have a new country song out called Christmas Day Without You, and it's about my experience being a divorced dad. And those first years of all of a sudden, dropping my children off on Christmas Eve, and then on Christmas Day, not being a part of those traditions that I had been a part of for so many years, and having to sort of navigate that. And all of a sudden you're just, okay, now I'm spending this day with these people over here doing this thing. And it's just, it can be really hard on people, and there's a loneliness factor there that's really hard for them to explain to you. So just reach out, and that goes for both sides too, by the way. It's not easier for the mom either. And my song Christmas Day Without You does address both sides, by the way. I'm an equal opportunity downer on Christmas.
Yeah. Well, it
That's
can be hard for the kids too, though.
Well, it also talks about that, Gary. Yes, because if you're from a broken home, my guest on that song is Autumn Ragland, who is from a divorced family, and she does the duet with me, and she's from sort of like that perspective of things. And so anyway, that song is streaming everywhere. Christmas Day Without You, Jaret Reddick and Autumn Ragland. But also, it's the holidays, and reach out to those people that you love. Gary, what are your plans? I mean, maybe I want to just be with you guys because
come back over. We had fun at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we did.
You know how we do it. Like Nick's family's coming in on the 22nd, and we're going to do a thing with her family at our house that night. And then it gets quiet again. We just have us here for Christmas Eve. My sister's family's coming in the 25th. And then I've got an aunt coming in the 26th with her family. And I think they all stay till like the 30th. So we'll have like a few days of extended big family get together.
Well, our next episode actually comes out on Christmas Day. So we'll have a little bit more of an opportunity to talk about these things. But the other thing that we should discuss before we end this episode is Bowling for Soup is turning 30 next year. And our first tour of our 30th year is actually going to be in Florida with the band Lit. And also, of course, our great friends, the Dolly Rots. Those tickets are on sale now. And we are making a stop over in New Orleans. And then we will be on the Rock Boat. And those, you can't get tickets to that. So don't.
Well, and also if you get, for the people that are on the Rock Boat, you can't get tickets to the hibachi.
No, you're not getting in there. Yeah, that's not happening. And then in February, we will be in the UK with Less Than Jake and the Vandaliers, and it's going to be our biggest tour ever. We will be playing our biggest headline show of all time there, and it is we are about 100 tickets away from the last two shows selling out that aren't Cardiff, if that makes sense. All the rest of the shows are sold out. Cardiff is looking like we might make it. If you're in the UK and you're thinking about coming to see us, man, make the voyage to Cardiff and help us sell out this arena. Let's make a statement about pop punk, about Bowling for Soup, and about how awesome we are as a community. We're in Canada, Gary, for the first time in a while.
Yeah. Also, not just make the trek, but like the tickets to the Cardiff show would be great stocking stuffers or presents for your friends.
God, you're so right, Gary. And speaking of stocking stuffers, after we go to Canada in April, we will be celebrating 30 years of Bowling for Soup, May 30th, May 31st, and June 1st. Talk about stocking stuffers. Why not make the trek down here and hang with us? And for celebrate our 30th. So one night we will be celebrating 30 years of Bowling for Soup. One night we will be playing a Hangover You Don't Deserve in its full lovely fashion, fucking
entirety.
Right.
Yeah.
On the 30th of that, by the way, another shameless plug, I'll be doing my album release at Den Silverleaf in Denton. So the 30th, Denton, Jaret Reddick, and then the 31st and June 1st, Bowling for Soup. The Colony Lava Cantina tickets are officially on sale now, and all that shit's going to sell out, by the way. So you better get in there. And you've been warned, like that's the thing. I feel bad for you. If you message me and you're like, fuck, I slept on tickets to Glasgow, and I didn't get them. And I'm like, we went on sale in fucking May.
Yeah. I mean, I understand too, because like I'm a procrastinator and sometimes I'm a non-committer, like, hey, are you gonna go do this next week? Maybe, like I don't commit, but like these things are gonna sell out, so you gotta make your mind up early.
You got to get in there. It's the holiday season, ladies and gentlemen, and I just want to say, everybody, stay super, super safe out there. I know a lot of you guys are traveling. The kids officially got out of school today where we live, which, by the way, Gary, I didn't even get a chance to talk about this. So this will be just on the podcast, but Jack just finished his last day of high school today.
He's graduating mid-semester.
Yeah. And Emma did the same thing. And
I knew she did. I didn't know he was doing it too.
He graduated today and he will start college, junior college in the spring. And then he has committed to OU.
I knew that he committed to OU, but holy crap, I didn't realize he was graduating now. That's crazy. How's that feel to have 2 kids out of high school?
It's funny. It's like it feels great. I mean, I don't know. Like I sort of think high school's so different now. I almost forget he's in school. Like he takes like 2 of his classes online, so he doesn't even go in until like 10. And then he's out by like 1 because he's got a job and shit. Like he's barely even there. And it's changed so much since we were in school. And even like their social things.
That's what I was going to ask about the social. So if half of his classes are online and he's not there, and like where's the social aspect of life come from? I mean,
he has his friends. It's a really big group. They have been friends the whole time. And they do their own thing. They spend a lot of time together and they do stuff. But like, he really never got into going to the football games or any of that shit. It's just, there are kids that do that, obviously, because all of those games sell out. But
right.
Yeah, it's just changed. They're just, he's not like, he really, and he's just an interesting kid. He's like, okay, yeah, I graduated. Let's not make a big deal of it. I still got a lot of fucking work to do, kind of thing. Like I've got his eye is on the prize kind of thing. And I mean, I get that. I guess I'm sort of like that in certain ways, but then again, I remember being very, very stoked to be out of fucking high school.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Is he gonna do the walk the stage ceremony thing at the end of next semester, or since he's already starting college, does he even give a shit about that?
Well, he says he is. And we'll see. He says he's gonna, but I don't know. I mean, he's a 17-year-old kid. He'll be 18 soon, and he's about to have a. It's kind of like anything else in the world, right? You say you're going to do that, but then you've got a semester of college under your belt. Do you want to go back and fucking do that?
Yeah, I could see even without the semester of college, just being away from high school for 5 months. At that point, you're like, I don't care. Do I need to go back?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's getting a little bit of pressure from the other side of the family. And as far as we're concerned, we're like, hey man, if you do it, we're gonna be there, but we understand either way, because he's just he's again, he has a very distinct plan of what he wants to do the next 4 or 5 years of his life, and I think he's ready to get going on it. So anyway,
good for him, man. I remember being that age, not knowing any idea what I wanted to be doing.
Yeah, now he does change his mind,
Sure.
but at the same time, I applaud him for you're right, for going into it with a plan. I mean, most college kids change, right? Like I changed my major. I went in accounting and changed to marketing, and
Even changing his mind, whatever, that's fine. Like everyone changes their mind and does something else, but having a plan, not everyone has a plan. Good for him.
Yeah, that's the thing, guys, kids, if you're listening to this, you can have a plan. Nothing's written in stone. And I tell my children that all the time, man, you can change your fucking mind. You can change your mind today about something that you decided this morning. It doesn't matter. Just follow through. Be a good person. Don't be a piece of shit. And be happy. Those are my rules. Gary, you got anything to add to my rules?
I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, make sure you brush your teeth and call your mother, Yeah. But I mean, I guess calling your mother is covered under don't being a piece of shit. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Brush your teeth.
Yeah, you can text her too. This day and age, man. My mom's fucking crazy technical savvy, and I don't understand how it happened. Like that was never a thing. And she's got that shit figured out. She can send me videos and shit. It's like the other day she sent me a link to something, and I was like, how did you figure out how to do that?
That's funny. My mom responded with Siri voice text yesterday.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the little thing that said, sent with Siri. And I was like, holy shit, I think she's having a stroke.
Oh no. All right, we got to get going. Thanks for listening to the Rockstar Dad Show. Don't forget, if you're listening on podcast apps, which if you're listening to this part of the show, you probably are, hit that subscribe button. Leave us a review. It really, really does help us to reach more people. We're having a blast doing this show, and we're just super, super happy you guys are listening. We'll be back next week with more Rockstar Dad Show. Y'all be good.
This is a song for my friends Jaret and Gary. They started a podcast and said a theme was necessary. They're just a couple of guys in a band that some rockstar dads who started a show. So here's the next episode.